We are continuing our discussions with the candidates that are on the ballot for this year's Quincy City election. And next, we'd like to introduce to you Kai Man Lee, a candidate for Quincy School Committee. Mr. Lee, great to meet you and talk with you. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's going to be an interesting election year here in the city for sure.
It is.
3 seats open on the school committee on the ballot.
Yep.
And you have thrown your name into the ring.
I have.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that thought process and why that is important to you.
Yeah, so I joined the PTO at Southwest about 2 years ago. Started off as the secretary. And then this past school year, the 2024-2025, I was elected as PTO president, and then working with Principal Mitchell, the teachers. One of the things that came up from Principal Mitchell was chronic absenteeism, and that was something totally foreign to me. I was like, why would kids not go to school? School's great. You could be with your friends. You're learning. And then for my kids, they have after-school programs.
So you have children at Southwest?
I do. I have my son Matthias is at Southwest, and coming this fall, my daughter Violet will be at Southwest as well.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. So yeah, they have all these after-school programs, and one of the PTO members encouraged others on the board to let's have someone from Southwest go to the school committee meetings to sit in and listen and see what's going on. So I started going to the one in October of 2024, and one of the first things they just happened to talk about was absenteeism, and also how kids are doing in kind of different groups, different schools, different ages, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I was like, oh. And then I had to look up what being chronically absent meant. That's a lot of days to be out of school.
What does it mean? What's the statistic?
It's like 10%. I think it's like 10%
of the school year?
Of the school year.
You're considered a chronic absentee?
Yeah, so it's a 180-day school year.
Yep.
Being absent 18
days.
That's a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just wondering, what can we do as a city, and also the school system? How do we get kids back to school? How do we? And I know there's COVID concerns. If something happened, if you're not feeling well, you encourage to stay home, which you should still do that. Don't want to spread it. But then, are there other things that are preventing kids from going to school? And then what can we do to make them want to come to school? So
as a member of the school committee, how would you address that?
So I love the before school programs. For the elementary school, there's BOKS. It's BOKS. I don't know what it actually stands for, but my kids signed up for it, and we have to wake up extra early to go to it, but they love doing it.
Okay.
So something like that. Maybe it's not every day, so maybe perhaps make it more days. And I don't know I know a lot of my daughter's friends are in it, and my son was in it. A lot of his friends were in it, but is there enough capacity for everyone in the school that wants to go? So if we're not able to make it every day for all the kids, make it how it is today for I think it's Tuesday, Thursday or something like that, or Tuesday, Wednesday, and then make it available for additional kids on the other days.
Okay, so extracurricular.
Yep.
Activities,
and then after school programs, there's also that. There's a whole menu of things that your kids can sign up for, our kids can sign up for, and I think having the after school program is great too.
Okay, so let's take a little step back.
Yeah.
We dive right into issues, but let's learn a little bit about yourself first of all, Mr. Lee.
Yep. So I moved here. I originally from Quincy. I'm originally from New York. I moved here after college.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to college in Brewer College in New York City, 23rd Street. They have a nice, beautiful building now.
What degree did you earn?
I earned bachelor's in business administration.
Okay.
My focus was in computer information systems.
Okay, and when did you arrive in Quincy?
I arrived in Quincy shortly after graduating. I moved here, I want to say like August or September of, I want to say 2023.
Okay.
We actually left New York. My dad drove me from New York up here. I think it was in the middle of a blackout. I just started.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah. I had my little goldfish in the cooler. We went all the way. We left New York and then the lights were back on.
I see.
So.
And
that was-
what drew you here?
Family.
Okay.
My mom, my parents moved here. We're all originally from New York. My sister was living here already. She was going to college in Suffolk. My mom and dad were living here. They have a house here. I had a choice to either live in the tenement buildings in New York City, in Chinatown. My roommates were mice and other vermin.
All the stories are true?
It's totally true.
Yeah, okay.
The garbage truck comes by, the whole building shakes.
Yeah.
So that choice, or come here and
Right.
finally have my own room.
I see. Okay.
So I was like, easy choice. I have to look for work anyway, so
Right.
might as well come up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's talk about work. What's your professional background?
So right now I am working at Safety Insurance.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the IT department, and specifically in quality assurance. So I do testing and also automation.
Okay.
Yep.
And how do you think your professional educational background will serve you on the Quincy School Committee?
The professional side, maybe not too much, like directly. It's more so that I'm like a self-learner,
Okay.
a self-motivator. So having that kind of, if there's some way to impart that kind of mentality on our kids, problem solve, and then just learn your way up.
Okay.
Always learning.
So was it the issue of chronic absenteeism that really sparked an interest in running for elective office?
Not exactly.
No, okay.
Yeah, so that was just kind of like the first foray into attending the meetings.
Gotcha. To be more
Yeah.
active.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in terms of what kind of like sparked the interest, it was
Yeah.
it was actually the Lunar New Year thing.
Okay.
Because in listening, like I'm not really involved in the whole Lunar New Year thing prior to this past few months, this past year or so. My kids always went to school for Lunar New Year because it's not a day off.
Right.
I went to school back in the day,
Okay.
even though where I was growing up, it was basically 90% Asian.
Yes.
We all went to school.
So
Not going to school is not a thing.
I see.
Yeah. And then hearing that there were a bunch of activists, a lot of people interested in like asking for a day off. It's like, oh, okay. So why why aren't we doing it? What are the arguments against it? Because I heard all the arguments for it, or the arguments against it. I didn't really hear too much of why not, that I kind of connected with.
Okay.
So when it was time this year again, and prior to that, there were people sharing numbers like, oh, half the schools are empty. I'm like, I don't know. My kids went to school. I think the school seemed pretty populated. And then this year, numbers were shared. I don't know if numbers were shared prior years, but this year was shared. And then North Quincy High, over half of the students were absent. And then just thinking like, kind of going back to COVID.
Right.
And also in the office these days, more than half of the people aren't there. You don't really have an office. It's not like you're learning remotely. People aren't there. If your business has half the customers that had or expecting, you're not gonna have a good day. Same thing if you're working and half of your coworkers aren't there, you can't service your customers, you can't do what you're supposed to be doing effectively.
Right. So it is, as you know, it's an excused absence right,
Yes.
right now. So why is that not good enough? Why does it need to be a holiday?
Good question. I don't know if it 100% needs to be a holiday, but I think we need to have that conversation of why not then?
Okay.
Like as I mentioned, like I heard all the reasons for it. All these other towns are doing it. They don't have as big of an Asian population as we do, and then maybe there's other ways around it.
Okay.
And in a school committee meeting that one of the ones I attended in the open forum, I mentioned how New York City tackled it. for New York City, it wasn't a day off. Initially, it wasn't a day off. It was not a day off for the state either. What they did was, hey, let's combine 2 half days and have it as a day off.
Oh, do you like the teacher professional development days you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then that doesn't really affect the schedule all that much. Just like kind of looking at it from a parent or just from a regular person view.
Right.
I'm sure there's more details. But kids are still going to school the same number of days. It's just moved around a little bit.
I see. So is Lunar New Year important in your family?
Oh, yes,
It
yes,
is.
yes, yes. We celebrate. We have food that we only have kind of that day / that week of the year. So, and we always look forward to it.
Okay. So that was the spark.
Yes, that was
Okay.
the spark. And then just kind of going through the process, like I'm on Facebook, so people were commenting, and then other people were commenting too. And then one of the comments, Tina Cahill mentioned, it's like, oh, if anyone wants to hear more about like her side of the story, I'm open for coffee. I'll buy you coffee too. I'm like, I can't turn down coffee.
Okay.
And if Tina is able to meet and we work that out, then that's great. We did. We had a
Oh, you
good
did?
conversation.
Oh, tell me
yeah.
about that. Yeah, how did it go?
Yeah. So it went well. I explained kind of like the whys,
Yes.
and I focused more so on like if half of the students aren't there, you can't really learn. You're not really doing much that day, so that it's not effective. So kind of like why have that day open.
Okay.
And then also, I know like in the open forum, when I mentioned the 2 half days, that's
Yes.
probably like too late in the process to kind of have that discussion.
calendar is set, right?
Yeah. So maybe next time around, that's something that could be considered.
Okay.
So there's that. Tina explained how her background, her grandma came here, didn't know the language and that kind of stuff, and then wasn't able to have all the things that she would have had like in Italy. So, and I'm like, well, that's true. At the same time, we're as a country, as just community, we want to progress. We have a bunch of people here requesting this. Let's have that discussion.
Okay.
And go through the pros and cons. Like maybe there is a really good reason why we can't have it, and it has not been explained.
Okay. So how did you end that meeting? How did you leave it with?
Oh, it was
Tina?
great. Like
Okay.
I was telling other people, like, oh, I love this process, like the whole democratic process.
Yes.
I got to be attend the meeting. I had my chance to speak, and like the public speaking was like nerve-wracking, even though it's just a bunch like it wasn't that many people, but it's still like different.
Sure.
So I understand why people wouldn't want to go to open forum, but that's not the point. And then an elected official offered to have a meeting. I said yes, and then we actually met.
Yes.
We had a conversation. It was a good conversation.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, love this process. Like I don't know if I really convinced Tina, but I liked having those opportunities
Okay.
and being part of that.
Sure. So if you are elected to school committee, then would you hold public meetings like that with your
Oh
constituents?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then you could be able to understand where people are coming from, and then I could also explain why I view it this way or some other way.
Sure.
Yeah.
So are there other issues, Kai, that are interested or important to you on the school system?
Yes.
Okay.
So in going through in attending meetings, the meetings are great. Miss Loftus, where my daughter and my son went to elementary school, Lincoln Hancock. Classrooms in the hallways, classrooms that aren't behind like 2 locked doors, like how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So potential security concerns.
Right.
Yeah. We live in a safe city, so hopefully nothing happens, but still. And then hearing from one of your programs, QATV, that the St. Mary's location is going to be a potential elementary school. So that sparked my interest. So, and then Ms. Loftus and Dr. Perkins mentioned in one of the meetings that they want to convert, one of the proposals is for Della Chiesa to be converted to preschool
Right.
and elementary school. So I was like, that sounds like a good idea because school is packed. and we need space.
Okay.
Having kids in classes and hallways is not good.
So class sizes is an issue for
Class sizes,
Okay.
Not just class sizes at like I think my kids are like 20 something for elementary school. Class sizes is where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So I like that, but I don't want necessarily more kids in the school. It's hard for more kids in each classroom.
Yes.
Because it'll be hard for the teachers to adequately work with each student.
Sure.
And then also having classrooms and hallways isn't exactly conducive either.
As you know, the MCAS graduation requirement in Massachusetts has now been eliminated
Yes.
as per the voters last year. How do you feel about standardized testing kind of in general? Do you think there needs to be some type of assessment for kids to graduate?
Yes, I think there should be something so that there's a standard across the board, however wide that board might be. I remember having to do standardized testing when I was in school. So, and then that's also something for colleges and other places to evaluate from. Because you might do good in your classes, this class or that class, but then as an overall baseline, how are you doing comparatively to other people? And especially other school districts, other schools. Because you could be doing well in like all your classes. Someone else might not be doing as well, but maybe in that school or that system, whatever, it's a little more rigorous. So their grades don't necessarily reflect how well they're doing in general.
Sure.
So I don't want to say that standardized testing is the end all be all, but it's one component in it.
Okay. Did you support eliminating it?
I don't think I did.
No. Okay. So you do think there's some value to it?
Yeah.
Sure. It'll be replaced with something, as you mentioned, some kind of standardized. Do you think it needs to be a statewide standard or a citywide standard?
Definitely citywide,
Okay.
and I understand and also from attending the meetings.
Yes.
Dr. Perkins is working with, I think, nearby districts to kind of work on what should we all standardize, at least amongst this group.
Sure.
And then maybe from that group, it kind of expands back out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curriculum-wise, Kai, how do you think the Quincy schools are doing? Do you see any glaring needs? Do you see any additions that need to happen? Any cuts that need to happen?
No, probably not in terms of cuts. Both of my kids were able to get into the REACH program, so I would like to see that expanded.
What is the REACH? For folks who don't know, what is the REACH?
The
program?
REACH is for, I think it's like 4th and 5th graders. They get to go to kind of like, not an extra class, but like a slightly different class where they do other collaborative projects and learn things that are a little bit different.
Gotcha.
So for example, my son, he did a diorama. That was one of them. It looked really cool. I was like, oh wow. I don't
I'm glad to hear kids still do those.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was like, I don't think I did that in elementary school. I didn't do it until like middle school. And then he also was part of this stock market thing where I think they learned about some stock stuff, and then they picked a stock, and then they tracked every week. I think they meet only once a week. Excuse me. They track how well they were doing, and then they got to swap out a trade, like in the middle of the term, and then continue tracking. And then I think my son told me he was at the top.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
So would it be fair to say that you support of outside curriculum activities?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think a lot of the school curriculums is probably like pretty good already.
Okay.
My kids enjoy learning, and then talking to the teachers and other staff, they really care about the kids. So like all that stuff is there.
Okay.
It's also learning not just what you're quote unquote supposed to be learning. It's like some of these things that are outside. Like growing up, like I didn't know really anything about stocks until like a lot later. Having that exposure helps spark ideas. Like, oh,
Sure.
what about this? What about that kind of
Okay.
thing? Yeah.
Something that's inevitably going to be faced by public schools across the country and the world eventually is artificial intelligence. Do you have concerns about that? Do you have thoughts about that and how it might impact public schools?
Yes. So in scouting there's a term called ages and stages.
Ages and stages.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a certain age where you would learn and do certain things, and then you kind of like graduate up. So AI may be something more for like the high school level.
Okay.
Like learning how to use it, what it's about. Well, maybe you could learn what it's about like at a younger age, middle school / lower high school. But then doing stuff with it maybe for juniors and seniors in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So AI is here. Technology is all around us. When back in the day, it might be something else. Today is AI. So you got to learn it. You got to embrace it, and make the best of it.
So you think there is a place for it?
Yes.
In public education?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it needs to be regulated or controlled in some way in the schools?
We should set aside. We should set up guidelines on how to use it, what it should be used for, what it shouldn't be used for.
Right.
Like a hammer is a tool. You can use it for good, build a house. You can use it for bad stuff, vandalism. So you gotta. It tool itself doesn't do anything. It's how you use it.
Okay.
We got to teach our kids how best to use it.
Sure. To get on the ballot, you had to go out, collect signatures.
I did.
Right, knock on doors.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
What was that experience like? What were folks telling you about their concerns about the school system?
Yep. So one of the people I talked to, and I didn't even know it was like a whole thing, is we don't have. I don't know the exact term, but like a qualified librarian at our elementary schools. We do at our high schools, and I want to say probably all of our middle schools, maybe except for one or two. So I didn't know that was like a whole thing. And then the librarian isn't just someone that, oh, hey, you want to get a book? I'll check you out kind of thing. They teach a lot of other things. And then sort of going with the AI thing, I just like technology, how to use a computer, how to search up stuff. I may be dating myself, but like I remember back in the day we had to go to
the card catalog.
The card catalog, exactly, to find.
Now I'm dating myself.
Yeah. And then a little later on, they had the computers to kind of look it up, but then you still got to have the number and then like go and to the different shelves.
You're pointing to the public library here, yes.
So there's that, but then like now, you may not be searching for books. You search for topics and that kind of stuff. And maybe
so elementary schools in Quincy don't have somebody at that level?
Correct.
Okay.
They have maybe a para or a teacher that
Yes.
kind of got converted to being a library teacher.
I see.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
So maybe that's something that we need to prioritize.
Okay.
We have to take a look at it. Like
Okay.
the budget isn't infinite. It's finite. So we got to prioritize where we see the most bang for the buck is, and then kind of go from there.
How do you feel the buildings themselves, school buildings themselves are, Mr. Lee? Here in Quincy?
The buildings, Southwest is beautiful.
That's brand new, right?
That's where I'm the PTO president.
Sure.
Lincoln, a little bit older. I hear that the lunchroom is going to be revamped a bit, so that's good. My son went to Squantum when we lived in North Quincy. He went there till first grade. My son's there.
Yes. Moral support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was old school.
Yes.
There used to be this book back in the day. It was like I think it was Wayside Story or something like that, where the school was built horizontal, but then it got built tall. So Squantum's opposite. It's like just all like one floor, but then it seems like there was buildings attached to buildings, so I'm glad there's.
So you support the new Squantum school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. We need to modernize our buildings. I don't know the exact finances of it, but just as a homeowner and just or a car owner, there are times where your old property, car, house, whatever, takes a lot to maintain, whereas having a brand new one, even though it costs a lot more upfront, the maintenance of it and the ongoing usage of it is much better. So.
Okay. So you support basically the process that's
Yes.
going on right now.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's great to hear from the mayor and school administration that we're able to get funding from the state for this and that. So that's totally awesome.
So if you are elected, will you stay active in the PTO?
I got to see what I guess the rules are.
Okay.
So for this upcoming school year, I'm no longer the president. I'm going to be the VP. So if I need to step down from kind of having a title, I'm fine with that. But I would still love to help out. I think they'll want me to continue helping out. So I plan on doing that.
Okay. How do you feel communication is, Kai, between school committee and parents like yourself or the public in general? Other areas for improvement there?
Yeah, so if I did not attend the school committee meetings,
Right.
if I am not running, I would have no idea what the school committee does and what decisions are, or what issues are in front of them, and then what decisions are being made. So I think there definitely is opportunity on that end of the communication.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on how you envision that happening, improving?
I like the Lauren Owens newsletters
The
that she sends
updates,
out every week. Maybe a link or something in there that helps summarize what's going on at the school committee level, and then potentially boiling it down is like, what does that mean to you as a parent?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does the rest of the campaign look like for you for the rest of the year?
Yep. Oh, so one thing I didn't mention was
Yeah.
I'm also the Cup Master of Pac 42.
Oh, okay.
So scouting season is over now.
Yes.
So now I have a lot more time to devote to the campaign.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's going out there, saying hi to people, letting them know my background, how I'm a leader in the PTO, in scouting, and then how I'm able to potentially help them after listening to their concerns and that sort of
Sure.
stuff.
Anything else you'd like to share right now with folks about you or your campaign?
Yeah, so I have a website,
Yep.
KaiManLee.com.
Okay.
I think I also have Kylie for Quincy.com.
Okay.
So check me out there. Follow me on Facebook, Kylie for School Committee.
Okay.
And I look forward to meeting all of you.
Great. Well, thanks for stopping by and chatting with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for watching us here at AM Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and we'll see you next time.